everyone. All right. I'm the moderator today. My name is Caitlin, or Petite Medic. I use she, her pronouns. And welcome to Costuming, panel number 6, where we talk about how we seemingly pull costumes out of our butts and some such things. All right. Why don't we introduce ourselves? Well, right. So how do we come up with so many costumes seemingly on the fly all of the time? Well, let's start with Robin. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, well, hello everyone. I'm Robin. I use she, her, or they, them pronouns. You can find me on my channel, kind of, Second Gen Gamer, but I'm mostly here on Dork Tales, and today I'm actually sporting, and I'll probably be showing off quite a few costumes that I pull out of Krista's ass, because she is...
I wasn't going to say it quite like that, but there we go.
I know. I had to, though. But, she manages to make things like this seemingly out of nowhere. So, when in doubt, have a crafty friend is also great. Who I do give cider to say thank you, because this is fucking amazing. Excuse the language, but yes,
I'm gonna make a comment about buying me a drink before pulling things out of my ass, so it works.
Well, there you go.
Please move on.
All right. Thank you, Robin. All right, let's go to Christine.
Hello, I'm Christine. So how are we introducing ourselves right now? Like, what are we supposed to be talking about?
Pronouns, who are you?
All right.
What kind of costuming you generally do? I didn't really
she,
say
her
anything
are
about
my
myself,
pronouns.
But
you can find me on twitch.tv at Lady Liliana, or on social medias as Lady Liliana. Come chat history with me. Be fun. But for costuming, I tend to get a little bit from Krista recently. But for the most part, I buy pieces and put stuff together from that, and I have a kind of a little wardrobe of base pieces that I move around to make an outfit.
Nice. Awesome. All right, let's go to Krista.
Hi guys, I'm Krista. I have a long history of making costumes for friends and for myself. I am not formally trained in any way. I just really like mucking about with the sewing machine and seeing what I can do. Most of my stuff is made, but I also do like Christine was saying, having those kind of core pieces that you purchase that can be used in a lot of different ways are integral to quick and easy costuming. So I'm excited to talk about all of that. Oh, and I use she, her, or they, them pronouns.
Nice. Awesome. Sounds good. All right, and let's go to Michael.
Hi everyone, it's me, Michael, going with he, him pronouns, and what I'm bringing to the table is a obscene love of hats and thrift stores. When it comes to costuming, thrift stores are my best friends. Like, I can pretty much throw a half dozen characters together with an afternoon of a thrift store.
Awesome. Excellent. Those are all really good things that we will definitely touch on all of those subjects. Excellent. All right, did we want to start off with talking about our base pieces? Because that came up a couple times.
Yeah, I think that's like an integral piece to, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure, what was that? There was a Extra Life game where we were time traveling.
Yes.
I remember that game, yes.
Where we literally were like grabbing hats beside us, and like I was, someone threw something and I was like, wait, I have something for that, and I like ran into the other room and came back. We were all doing that.
Your glasses or something, but yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you for the tip, Nacro.
Amazing. Thanks, Nacro.
Oh, Nacro, thank you.
Do any of you guys have your pieces with you? I pulled a few pieces aside.
Let's see.
Yeah, I actually have it. Oh, I put it down there. Hold on, let me take my horns off because.
So I've yeah, we've all got stacks of them. So this is a white dress shirt. I use this with the collar up and the sleeves rolled up as my Ida cowboy shirt. I also used it as my shirt when I was playing Call of Cthulhu, because done up to the high collar with a cute little bow is a very 1920s educated woman look, and it can be used in so many different ways. I also have a black one, and the beauty of this is it didn't fit me when I bought it at the thrift shop, so I put a piece of whatever fabric I had at the back But on stream, nobody's going to know.
Exactly. We'll also touch on costuming for streams in particular.
Yeah. What do you guys got?
I mean, I have this is particularly for like one shots. I tend to have like obviously like a white blouse or something, but like I find like something even like a black cowl. This was like I think like maybe $15 on Amazon. Is you can have this, and you can just have like a dark shirt underneath, and it's really you can see it, and then you can have a hood. You could be like a cleric type. You can have it down.
This was the cowl I made for Kelly for XLR, but I borrowed it for our Dungeons and Doggos game, and it's a very multi-use piece. So
yeah, you can have that put on a bit of like a fur stole that I have, and you can suddenly have like your winter character. It's these base pieces that once you can kind of
a hood in particular, I feel like is a really
I have a cape that's I wore for Vistra. That's a brown cape, and it's my dad's that his mother made for him for like Halloween costume that I've stolen.
Amazing. And Michael's hats, obviously, you can define a character with a good hat.
I literally have a stack beside me, and I totally want to do how many characters can I do in a minute? So if somebody's got a timer on them, give me a minute countdown. I'll show you how many characters I can throw on a screen in a minute.
Well, let's save it. Can we do that at the very end?
We'll save that.
Caitlin had it right. So can we do 1 minute right at the end to see how many characters Michael can do with hats?
I will literally have a party of one person. Yes. You know, like those comedians that do like an entire party of people showing up at the door streaming in. I will be those people introducing themselves. So.
All right, well, it's great that all the other four of us are here, but now it's going to be Michael's show. Let's go to Christine. I know we've got some pieces there.
Yeah, so I have several pieces that I got from a company called Felix and Kitty that do kind of medievally type outfits. So I have a couple poet shirts, basically.
Oh,
so they've got lovely wide collars, they're lace up, they've got long sleeves, and they've got elastic. Which is amazing.
Company called, Christine?
Felix and Kitty. I don't know if they're still around. They were very expensive. I got them from a convention. That they
I got my very first corset from them, like a decade and a half
ago. They
do
fairly accurate historical reproduction.
There's still a thing I can find there. I'll put their link in the chat for those that are curious.
So they also did corsets and stuff like that were fairly accurate materials and like style, like not the cheap plastic boning type corsets, but in modern materials and modern fabrics and patterns and all that sort of stuff. But this is a shirt that I use for Callie, and basically I use that and a vest that I bought online that's just very soft, kind of suede-y material. Yeah. And a fur stole. And all I did was I pinned this. This is actually designed to be worn around, and it hooks together, so it's meant to be kind of fashion. So you could do it for that. But I pinned it to the vest itself to make it look like part of a cloak.
Well,
but that, and I have the same poet shirt but in black that I've used for a lot of various random characters for extra lives and stuff like that, because depending on what you put over it, it's very, very versatile. Like Krista was saying, like having a black shirt and a white shirt, incredibly versatile. Because I also would just like what you accessorize with, like say a bandana, if you fold it all up, you can use it for like a tie, which changes your look. You could tie it around your neck to be kind of a fashion look. You could tie it with the bow up, or you could cover, like it all changes the style.
If you don't have a bandana, get yourself a bandana. You've got half of your costume right there.
Or like ribbons and stuff like that.
Also, your arm. I did that for a dance shoot. It was a little edgy.
Depending on how you fasten the shirt together, like the poet shirt, if I just left it loose, it would sit very differently than if I belted it at the waist.
Oh, absolutely.
Which gives a sense, and it's somewhere to tuck stuff into also, so you could have something coming over it. Like having one or two base pieces, you can like put all sorts of stuff over to really change it up.
Yeah, and that gives your character kind of a different presence as well. And I'd like to talk about how to costume your character as well, maybe in a little bit.
I think
Also,
this is my
for
favorite
those
piece.
that don't wear glasses, I got a pair of plastic frames, and I just like. I think they're movie theater like 3D glasses.
Yeah,
And I picked out the 3D.
Go watch a 3D movie, keep them in your pocket, and you are an instant hit at every party.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Like, this is my favorite piece because honestly, it's a very fashion one, and most of the people here will actually recognize it from LARP, where I played a very society character. Michael will also recognize it from playing a barbarian. Because you know what I did? I pulled one arm out of it, pulled it across my chest, hid the glittery buckle, and all of a sudden it's a first hole for like barbarian style.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Good costumes have to be versatile.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And honestly, buy bigger than you are. In some ways, because you can pin that shit.
Oh, yeah. Especially for stream.
Tie it in with a belt, pin it. Like, you can make it look tight, even if it's loose.
Safety pins are
Whereas tight, you can't make it look loose. Not without a lot of help.
It's real difficult.
Don't be afraid to go a size bigger than you normally are. Don't worry about like if you have, you know, everyone has like or not everyone, but a lot of people have body issues. But for like costumes and stuff, being able to have that flexibility by going up a size larger and being able to pin it back, you know that you're not that size. You're doing that on purpose so you have that versatility. So just don't be afraid to go a size up than maybe usual, so you can have that shirt be 4 or 5 different outfits for your characters.
100%.
Absolutely. All right. I was just going to show, I've also just got a couple belts here. Not that I've used them on any of our streams except for Extra Life games, but again, they also help with the tops and everything. And I just wanted to point out that I do love this wig.
Yeah.
One of my, some of my, not that I don't have like 30 of them in 2 Tupperware bins, but some of my favorite things are to reuse wigs in different ways. So this one, tied back, is my Luthien wig. But loose and kind of fun and buns and stuff like that is for a Jilly Bean. So, little tidbit, if you noticed, good job. If you didn't, well, I'm pretty sure everyone noticed. So, and then
I feel like having one, or like you don't need another wig for every single character, but having one that you can kind of bop around is like, okay, well, it's
different ways.
Exactly, yeah. It's just
or
slightly
sometimes
different.
switching, wherein if you used it for a character, you maybe don't use it for the very next one, but the one after, so you give a chance to not have that flavor coming through.
Totally.
For sure. And I did use, it's still pretty specific, but I was supposed to get a different jacket for Luthien, but that didn't happen, and then I forgot. So I used this one for both Luthien and Talfrin, slightly different ways.
The slightly different ways is the trick. It's like where, I mean, you know, I feel like a lot of us that like grew up, particularly those of us that grew up in like the late 90s, early 2000s, when like belts went anywhere.
Oh my gosh.
We learned that you don't have to wear things they're prescribed to be worn like. You can wear it however you please.
So our Final Fantasy years, you're saying?
Correct, yes. We all looked at Lulu and was like, yes, that.
That one. I want that one. Yes.
Exactly. And then, you know, like wearing a hoodie around, like tied around your waist was where you wore it. You didn't put it there because it was warm. It was like, that was how, like the number of hoodies I wore with another one tied around my waist.
I had so many wraparound skirts over jeans, and I was like, I'm boho skater. And I was like, that's not even a thing.
Disney Channel original red carpet.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, there's so much you can do with accessories. Like, the right necklace or the right pair of earrings or something, or the right glasses can be like an entire character. Like, I mean, for the Cthulhu game, I basically wore aviators and a white scarf around my neck.
Yeah.
It was all the same costume pieces from doing Scion, just a slightly different wig and aviators.
There was an Extra Life game that Millie ran that was, you were in that one, I think, Robin, the 4-something 0 frame.
Oh,
Mobile Frame Zero?
Or not ReZero. That's an anime.
Mobile Frame Zero?
Frustrating.
It was mobile something or other.
Mobile Frame Zero.
Okay.
Mobile Frame Zero.
I mean, I put on a green jacket with a ripped apart backpack so that it looked like I had flight gear on.
Nice.
And again, like you said, we're going to talk about for stream specific, when you're only looking at here up.
And only the front.
Only the front.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've turned around on stream and people have seen like the garbage that is behind me going, oh. Yeah. Oh, having to wear, because I'm going to SakuraCon the other weekend, and I wore my Sabina costume, and I was like, shit, I need pants. Like,
oh God,
right?
I can't just wear like PJs or my little onesie.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Shit.
Well, it's amazing what a little bit of styling can do to something too, because like, God, I swear I've worn that poet shirt for when we played in OPPCon last year, not pirate, but we were kind of pirates.
Yeah, that was the pirate
like
one.
Sailing hunter game. That's the same wig as Evelyn from Mage. It's the same shirt as Callie. All I added was a bandana and a bit of ribbon around my neck to hide the lace up of the poet a bit. Otherwise, it's the exact same outfit as like 3 other characters.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and like you were saying, Caitlin, like you using your necklace in like for Jurassic Park as like a headpiece. Like, God, the number of times I did that in the 90s.
Oh God, that costume. I tried to go all out for Extra Life Game, so I was like, yeah, and then I'm gonna wear this thing, and I was like, I can't move in it, and then it became
regular
thing. And I was like, yes, and these contacts I can't see out of, and we can also touch on contacts if we want to, or we can save that for tomorrow. But I got that in my list here. But I was like, oh, buddy.
Right, yeah.
Well, speaking of Extra Life and like things that you've done, this was like from my first Extra Life where I was playing a bird person for Millie's dungeon game. And I just grabbed an old pair of sunglasses, some feathers, and hot glue. And it's like, suddenly I look
honestly,
like a bird.
also thrifting.
Yeah,
I used to go to thrift stores all the time and look at their jewelry and like little things like that, scarves and stuff, because you could find so much just to change up everything with a couple scarves and some jewelry. Totally. I've got this lovely kind of chain link-ish. I think it was meant as like a necklace, kind of like, it really reminded me of belly dancing, which is why I got it. Was originally for belly dance costume pieces, but it could totally be pinned in to cover like your forehead completely and down.
Nice.
And wig glue and body glue and stuff what, you can make that piece stay in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely.
The number of times I find myself running to the sports section where I'm like, okay, let's find all the elbow pads and knee pads, and then I can chainsaw those up, and suddenly this is like cheapo armor, and then I'm gonna glue it to an old leather jacket, and suddenly I'm like a warrior out of the wasteland, and I've spent all of like an afternoon with a glue gun.
And $2.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, exactly.
Which I love seeing the videos where people like saran wrap themselves and then use duct tape over it to trace out armor parts.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you can cut it into the pieces.
Yeah.
And if you really want to be lazy, you know what you can do? You can get some really flexible fake leather from the fabric store and just hot glue it to those pieces and then poke some holes and tie it back on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't even have to try and know how to do leather working. Not really. Get yourself a good depends on the fake leather. Also, if you get very light stuff, because if you're putting it over, say, a duct tape form, you don't necessarily need a ton of it. Also, you just get pieces to suggest.
Yes.
These gaps.
I think
also side lacing is a thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because you think about your like your D&D characters that will like, oh, I'm wearing full plate, and it's like you're not. What was I think Traz is in the chat, but when Traz was doing his costuming for XLR, he messaged me and was like, hey, what are your recommendations, because I want to wear chainmail. And I was like, don't for one. But he was like, well, I want something that looks like it. And so hey Traz. But so we kind of he did a little bit of digging and was like, what do you think about this? And found just like it was chainmail, but it was very like Halloween level chainmail knitted stuff. And it had just a little bit of shimmer to it, and it had just enough detail that it looked like chainmail, but was very light. So it worked great on camera. I mean, even pictures he sent me like of in person looked like it would have been perfectly fine if you were wearing it to like a LARP or something like that. To not like, I've worn full chainmail before. Oh, it
there's
is
a reason Lord of the Rings did it out of like plastic piping.
Yeah.
And then painted it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's heavy.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like also my character wears scale mail for Netherdeep, but all I chose to represent that was my scale mail pauldrons, which, by the way, scale mail and long wigs do not go together. So rip forever my my Zarya wig. Kidding, but yeah, no, that is also something to be aware of. Is that long wigs are a pain in the butt and hard to take care of, and if you have things like scale mail, they're gonna get caught, and you're gonna have to deal with it.
Honestly, if you just a collar or a necklace, because like my Win wig is constantly tangled. Every single time I put it on, I have to carefully brush it. A ton comes out of it.
Yep.
Because the back, from the back of the neck, where when your head moves, it moves constantly and catches on stuff and then rubs together and tangles up. Is always tangled. Short wigs are awesome.
How many people have severed heads in their home?
Oh yeah, it's like over there.
You're not a costumer if you don't have a severed head.
I literally
on my
asked,
dresser.
I asked for them for Christmas. I got 5 bought for me by different people for Christmas.
I've got two that I have basically my wigs that I have done a lot of work to. So like, for example, I've and I apologize for any styrofoam noises that people don't like, but for like Keiko, I did these braids and jewelry things, the same with Sassy's wigs that have all the gears in it. I don't want to put those back into a bag and put it in my drawer. So the other wigs that I'll use get put back into my thing, as trying to do as little fuss up as possible.
Oh god, so Evelyn's is attached to one of those foam heads. And the only problem with that is it's top heavy. So I actually have to balance that head so it's against something so it doesn't fall over.
I get that problem with Isaac's wig because Isaac has like, it's a wig with here. Let's all see the beauty of me going. I can make a wig. So not only was this 2 separate wigs that I purchased, and then also added additional wefts to that I just cut and mushed together. Underneath it is all like E3000 or E6000 or whatever it is with fur and foam. The ears were made out of foam and are all hot glued along the edges.
Amazing. Oh, that's a good idea.
But when it's on and sort of like taped down a little bit, it covers my real ears and it makes it look like I have ears up top, and, you know, glued a little bit of hair onto the fur so that it all kind of blends together. But that ain't going in a bag for sure.
No,
No, like Evelyn's wig actually has to be, the front of the wig is actually down on the nose of the foam thing, because I needed the bun to be up as high and centered as possible, because that thing's heavy. That's a huge wig. That's actually the wig I wore for the pirate costume that was all the riotous curls. And it, like, I brushed that sucker out to be able to put it up. It's a good couple foot long wig. It's just curly, so it's heavy.
Oh yeah.
But it's right up, and it's pinned to the styrofoam. I actually have 2 of the forms. One styrofoam and one is one of the kind of wire style forms that we happened to get free from Arda for a big order. So
nice.
I have an extra. Unfortunately, none of them are the ones that attach to a table like Paradoxical Ghoul mentioned in the chat.
Those are,
so my wig goes back in the bag every time.
I got one of those. I think it was only like $20 or something on Amazon.
I just don't have anywhere to put it.
So what I mean, the fact that it clamps on to kind of anything is sort of nice. Like you can clamp it to like the side of your dresser, which is pretty rad. Mine actually, I have a stand for my dress form that the head happens to fit perfectly on top of.
Nice.
So I set it there and then stick my feet on the base of it so that when I'm ripping at it, it's not falling over.
I've also seen people do it with really heavier tripods as well.
Yes.
Where they just have like the top and then they just like stick the head on. I was thinking about doing that for styling, but right now I have my lovely model, Mr. Victor Harvey, who is actually not in this room at the moment. So
nice.
But he is the one that helps me with it and looks way better in the wigs than I ever will. But such is life. Such is life.
Truly.
Is there? I haven't seen any questions in the chat, but does anyone in the chat?
I saw a question earlier about wigs and how you keep it from itching.
Yeah, I saw that one too. So great question. I suck it up and deal with it. No, I'm kidding.
I mean,
honestly,
really,
though, I don't have any other than like
don't really
focusing on something else. And like maybe itching a little bit.
Wig cap.
I honestly don't have anything. Yeah,
I
wig
use
cap
a wig
if you're
band.
not using a wig cap. Wig band too. Wig bands are really good to help them from slipping, especially if they're heavy. I have one. I haven't really used it, but one of my other friends like swears on it, and I trust them.
Ever since Ghoul swore by it, I got one to try, and it's been great because like I find it. I have it sit right at my hairline, then like the band, and then I have the wig sit just slightly farther forward. So I find it keeps it just enough off my skin that I really don't. So Dazed Apricot, a wig band is basically a chunk of essentially velvet with Velcro that you wrap around your head and secure. And because it's a velvety type material, it has that sort of weave where it'll stick against your hair, so it won't shift, and then the wig won't shift because it'll do the same thing on that side. And then you don't need a cap necessarily. Unless like you've got a lot of flyaways, then you want a cap to keep it all contained.
Yeah,
I'm lazy and just use a ponytail because nobody's seeing the back of my head on stream. So you don't see the ponytail bump sticking out of the wig.
Yeah, I do that too. Just like
See,
I don't have the
giant
patience to like braid and pin my hair.
I have a giant head, so if my hair isn't like plastered against, or my hair isn't plastered against my head, the wig doesn't fit. So like I can't just be lazy about it. I wish I could.
I've got a small head.
I have definitely done a low pony and had it like hang down the back of my head before, so that the wig doesn't actually go over the ponytail at all. I do yeah, exactly. I do pin curls across the front, and then I just do 2 braids that I do up.
I just don't have the patience for it.
Yeah. I do find that the lace front wigs that I've tried are less itchy because they have that kind of soft lace at the front. So if you can spend a couple extra bucks on that, I mean, you can get them on Amazon now. They're not that much more expensive than a good not lace front wig. You can also add a little bit to that, which is great. Oh, thank you very much, Jen, for that. I haven't tried spraying it with alcohol and stretching it. Interesting. I was considering just cutting up the back of it and adding some elastic up the back, so that works better. Yeah, and wig caps are really, really good for that, especially the ones that are like a tube, so you can pull the tube all the way down, then you pull the tube up until all your hair's in it, loop it around, and pin it down.
Pin it. Yeah, pin it. Yeah.
Very, very good. Yeah.
Sometimes wig caps I find very difficult because our last order with Arda, they sent us wig caps. They were all too small for me. Yeah. Like they were digging into my head, whereas the previous one had been fine. So they obviously changed their size.
Yeah, which really was like stretch them out too. I find that if you don't stretch them out, they're like.
Well, no, like this was like pulling the elastic to its uttermost, and it was tight. So it was like. Did you send me the kids one by accident?
Well, so something I watch a lot of hairstyling videos on different social medias, and one of the things I really like watching is wig installations. And so women that actually like put on wigs that they wear for an extended period of time, because obviously on stream we're sitting down for 4 hours and we're not super worried that it's on. But if you're wearing it for a couple of days and stuff like that, the way they do their wig caps is you actually get rid of that elastic. So you pull it. So what they do is they pull it all the way down so the band is about here and fully under their ears. And then you use Got To Be, the spray glue, and you spray it through and so that it fully glues the wig cap to your head. And then you cut off the spare wig cap stuff. There's some just look up in wig installation and you'll see it.
Yeah.
But it's
the most part I've always used the mesh ones because for the longest time I was pinning through them.
Yeah.
Whereas the nylon ones you can't really pin through very easily.
So we do have a question from Trizalta. So any suggestions on how to pull off a dragonborn, especially since there are multiple types now?
Get a VR rig.
Nice. What?
Get a VR rig.
Oh, nice. Yes, exactly. There, done. Problem solved.
Okay,
Costume.
next question.
Done.
Honestly, I think I need to come up with some sort of like loose prosthetic you can do, because a lot of them have like those kind of like appendage whiskers even that you could probably do, but also you probably need to do some makeuping, which might be a thing for tomorrow morning more than today.
Yeah, we'll definitely touch on that a little bit. I think in the makeup, like talking about prosthetics. Oh, you can just
invest in a really good hat.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Honestly, okay, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but they're like for kids, I guess, but they're like mouth movie dinosaur masks.
There's also
and, like, dragon ones.
I'll put this in the chat for Amazon. They have different colors now, but there's like it's like a dragon mask that like covers like the top bit, and like the jaw is totally loose. I'm gonna put it in the Twitch chat and our chat as well for Zoom. Yeah,
I think it really comes down to how realistic you want it, because if you want realistic,
we got a couple of these. They're a bit small, so if you have a big face or a big head, you're gonna have edges of your face peeking out, which can be solved with a wig and a hat or a hood, and maybe some like if you paint your skin dark and have a dark wig around it, that won't show up as much then.
Totally.
But I know they were tight on my face.
Yeah. I would say that if you want it to look like when I did Isaac, I was like, I know this kind of stuff. I want to do a prosthetic. I could just draw a cat face on so that it looks like that, but I'm obnoxious and needed to do a prosthetic piece. So like you can do that. So it depends, but I could have just drawn a cat nose on and it would have been fine. Like no one would have been like, what are you doing with just a cat nose, right? Like
are you really a Leonin?
Exactly. Yeah, like what's this garbage? Yeah, exactly. So like I think if you were just like wanted to do something and I know like Dazed Apricot mentioned doing an Aarakocra. I mean, I think what Robin had, your little owl face, I think doing that for an Aarakocra or for an owlin, right? I think that's perfectly acceptable.
I've also seen, and it's a little more complex, and I'd love to do it at some point, but I saw someone on TikTok who had
I follow that account. I love it with the little
owly ears. So like getting inspiration from TikTokers and other cosplayers and just seeing what they do and seeing how you can do something similar in your own style is definitely an option as well. I definitely probably look into what they do with their little ears. It's so cute.
I know it's they take those like you can it's like for little kids, right? It's like the toques that have the ears. Because they've got little pumps, hand pumps. So you just it's so cute. Oh,
it's so cute.
I think it's I think in any kind of like non-humanoid, it really comes down to how realistic do you care about it, and then it's going to be makeup after that, unless you just want to wear a full mask.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's lots of makeup looks that you can do to suggest an animal or something like that. Like that's what we've done for animal adventures in the past with being different animals. Like you can get suggestions of stuff with what you could do around you, just to give the idea of something.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll touch more on that tomorrow. Hey,
absolutely. Yeah, the idea of like, okay, what is going to infer what intones this character and what makes you look exactly that thing, which is depends on what you want.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, especially like we do, we get character art, and our character art, like I don't look anything like the character art for Sabina.
Oh, thank you for the tip, chef.
Neither do I with Zarya. Like there's suggestions in there, but I'm not going to look exactly like the character that no matter how much pink I do, no matter how good my horns are, I'm never going to look exactly like it. So it's all an art.
100%. It's like cosplaying. It's like, what? You know who I am because of this. I don't need to look identical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Totally.
Exactly. All right. Let me see here. I was wondering, just so that it doesn't get lost, Michael, when did you want to do your hats? More at the end, or
Yeah, let's do that towards the end,
towards the
because
end?
honestly, I've got like this weird lineup on either side of me, and
Yeah.
This is gonna be great.
as much as I want
to,
as much as I want to throw it out right now, I'm like, I don't want to show off too much, because I mean, it'll be fun.
Fair enough. Sounds good. Okay, did we want to go into how we go about designing a character's costume now that we're kind of talking about what goes into it and how it's an art? All right.
Sorry, technical thing. I just realized I was on my wrong microphone. When I changed the volume of it, it changed microphones on me. Am I too loud?
I think
no,
you
sound good. Yeah.
Good Lord, when you can't hear yourself, it's hard to tell. And Robin told me I was clicking, and I was like, "Wait a minute, is it this doing it? Oh no!"
Oh yeah.
I'm so sorry, everybody, for my awful quality up until this point. Love you guys. Yes, let's talk about building a character in your costume.
I'm kind of intrigued how everyone handles it. Like, do you get your character built first and then build your costume around it, or do you literally have a costume and you build your character around it?
Sure. Okay, so I definitely build my character first, and then I go, who are they? So for an extra life stream, I'll be like, I am just going to be the most alchemist I can scrounge up with all of my stuff around here. So that's what I do. So if I'm going to be like an artificer alchemist, like it wasn't actually extra life, but anyway, so one of my characters was an artificer alchemist, and I was like, okay, what can I do that looks like this? But if it's something for like a longer campaign, I'm basically just go into who are they, what kind of style do they like, and stuff like that. So I definitely build all of the character first, and then go into, okay, well, maybe their palette's going to be like this, and I had such a hard time with Zarya, just because I made her a pink tiefling, and I was so into that, and then I was like, but blood magic, and I was like, but pink and red don't go together. So I had to find a secondary color, and I was like, maybe black. Well, I was like, so I say that, but this dress is pink and red. But just as like I couldn't see it in my mind. So yeah, I had to find a secondary palette color for that, which I chose to be like a plumish color, which kind of worked out, I think. Totally. Yeah. So that's how I do. I definitely build the character first, see who they are, and what kind of brings out their personality in their wardrobe, and what I can manage with either making or not too much buying. And
yeah, I think same.
Or what I have around the house.
Yeah, because for like instance, like Claudette from Reign of Emeries, I very much kind of want to do something a little different with that character, and I started playing with the idea of like, okay, well, I really like the idea of I want to try out a wizard. Ooh, Blade Singer sounds really cool. Okay. But then kind of trying to get her personality a bit, and started figuring out, okay, well, I think she's going to be a bit sweet. She's maybe a little meek, but also a bit more like reserved and a bit more higher class than some of the other characters I played, because I had been playing Callie not too long before that. So I wanted something a little more regal, elegant, but sweet. So I ended up actually building that costume completely for that game. So I ended up finding like a shirt which had the bow neckline. Like I kind of had that sort of idea if I wanted to come more round collar, or like a bow collar, or more of a mandarin collar type thing, just to kind of give that feeling. And I really wanted like light blue, or maybe like a vest of some sort. So Kel was very kind and knitted me a vest in baby blue for it. And that sort of thing. So that's kind of how I decided on wig and all this sort of stuff. I kind of started building out what I wanted her to feel like. And then I happened to find like these little heart-shaped barrettes when I was out in the store one day, and I was like, yes. Originally she was going to have like a necklace with a large jewel of some sort, but I just couldn't find anything I liked, so I ended up just letting that fall by the wayside. But yeah.
I think
just kind of that's what it was.
Go ahead, Robin.
So for me, I'm kind of like, I guess, a hybrid. So a lot of my characters, I have like a slight general idea, or like a concept, but because I'm, what's the official term, broke.
Oh yeah, there it
I
is.
try and figure out what a singular piece that I could use and then build around it, or if I have bought something that I haven't used yet, I'll try and be like, okay, what kind of personality? So for like example, last year we got into finding out about corset story and bought some really nice corsets, and
I have to remind more.
So this is I've had this corset for like 6 months to like a year, and so when the opportunity for Keiko came up, I was like, I want to wear this corset on stream because it's pretty and I want to show it off. So I kind of built the rest of Keiko around that. So I ordered like the birds that like
the boa
explaining when I have it right beside me, this like thing that I use and tie it up to make her kind of like mantle epaulettes thing, and then some gloves from like the bracers from AliExpress. And so for Keiko it was actually, and I had the wig already, so for her it was very much like, okay, I actually have most of the stuff and can order easily. Sassy was a bit more of like, hey, I have this idea, and Krista, hey, would you be okay making something like this? And then once I got the confirmation, then I went ahead and like built the character for like art and stuff, because for me, I want to try and look as much as possible like the character that I envision in my head. So I try not to get too far into building before I have an idea of what I can achieve with my costume. And then for like example, I had an idea for Sassy, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this, and I was like, purple tiefling horns. And these motherfuckers turned out to be a lot more work. I mean, thankfully I had 3D print the actual horns and with little slits in them, and I was trying to figure out how to attach them to my head. I was gonna try magnets and everything, but nothing worked. But I ended up finding like,
but how do they work? I'm so sorry.
Styrofoam in the bottom, because I originally had put the magnets, so I had styrofoam shoved up to put a magnet there, but they just kept ripping off and falling off the wig and my head. So then I actually found a headband from, oh god, I think I went to Claire's, and I found this like tan headband for really cheap, and I actually just stripped it off and saw that there was white underneath. I'm like, perfect, because Sassy's wig is gray, so I try and blend it in as much as possible. But it's just, I spent like 3 or 4 hours, and that was one of those things where it's like, well, I've built this character to say this thing, so I'm gonna damn sure well make sure I have this as accurate as possible. And then I just did 3 different colors of paint on here to get the kind of nice purple sheen. But I definitely like to go into my costuming because I have limited abilities myself with wallet and skills. They are improving, but it's a process.
Kelly would like to interject real quick.
Oh,
sorry, I couldn't find the dragon mask. I didn't find my Arakokra costume. So.
Oh my god.
Hello.
100% acceptable.
I'm sorry, did he just flip us the bird?
Yeah. I think he did, actually.
How rude.
Oh.
Jeez. God, you're not on this panel, and what do you do?
Getting in here anyway.
Damn it.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat as like what Robin was saying about with Sasira, right? Is especially when it's Hayliz's art, with Hayliz's art, and I'm forgetting the person who did our art for Witchlight, Kiyoshuki. Their art is so incredible, and like their inventiveness was really, really nice. And so like with Isaac for Witchlight, I had actually designed him a hero forge first. I was just kind of mucking about to see, because I really had no idea. I was like, I don't know how to put this guy in, and I was mucking about, and I found a really cool outfit on Hero Forge, and I was like, okay, I like this, and sent pictures to Kiyoshuki and said, hey, here's this, can you make something like this? You have a friend. I
was gifted a friend. He's now going to be with me in my beautiful wig model.
Amazing. Yeah, and so so it kind of came in 2 steps of like, I sent that and I was like, hey, I'd like this but with these colors, what do you think? And then they designed it, and then I made the costume based on what Kiyoshuki drew, and then kind of the same thing with Hayliz for Netherdeep was they said, I was talking with her about like what this character idea was. I had bought some fabrics that I really liked, and I was like, this is kind of the palette I'm working with, and this is kind of my idea, and some sketches of the costume I'd done. But then she made the thing, and I was like, fantastic, that's exactly how I'm designing it. And then I sewed it to match what she had drawn. And yeah, all in all, it was like, I think it does kind of come from the character idea to begin with. I don't think I've had any characters that I was like, oh, I have this thing and I think I want to wear that. I think I was in a LARP once where I was supposed to be an NP. It was the first LARP I was ever in. It was where I met Kelly, and it was like they'd said, oh, well, yeah, I don't know, just be someone. And I was like, well, I kind of want to dress like an 80s groupie. So I'm just going to be an 80s groupie as a vampire. Nice. Done and done.
Heck yeah. And that's such good freedom too. Because you're like, you know what? This is what I want to do. Let's just go for it.
Exactly. Yeah. What about you, Michael?
I must be the odd one out because I like building a character around a costume piece. Like a classic example would have to be my Deadlands character. Because I have always wanted an excuse to have a cowboy hat. And honestly, of all the cowboy hats on the planet, I've always loved everything that Clint Eastwood wears. The Good and the Bad and the Ugly is one of my movies that I have to watch every year just religiously, because to me, that's, what a great cowboy movie should be. And if I'm going to play a character who's a cowboy, I need a hat that's along that same vein. And once I got the hat and put it on, I kind of felt the character immediately. And I think great costume pieces really embody a character, and they tell you the story. Like 100%. every time I put this hat on, like I'm no longer Michael. I am now Trenton Skinner. Yeah. So
I feel the same in the Deadlands in specific. When I put my Ida costume on, I feel like a fucking badass. Just immediately I'm like, no, I don't take fucking shit today. Like,
that is me for Keiko. I found Sassy not as much, but like Keiko, when I because the corset is the last thing that I do in the costume, because I usually spend like 10 minutes trying to get the buttons to go. But once I finally get that on and fight that battle, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a fucking Goliath. Like I am fucking strong, man. It's a great feeling,
right? Yeah, I think costumes can really set that tone, and I think that's why so many people have like taken to dressing up. Like I until I was on stream, never dressed in character to go to a D&D game. Like mostly because it's we're after school or coming home from work or whatever, right? You're sitting around having a few beers with friends to play D&D. But I can see why people do it now, of being like, yeah, I need to, like, I'm in my character to be this person. Like,
absolutely,
it's I love that about LARPs.
Yeah.
Of dressing up for them. I felt so badass dressing up as my NWO agent, because half the time I wore boots for that of some sort, or booties with a heel, and like, so you clicked a little bit when you walked, or I had a bit more of a blazer and like skinny black jeans, and I just felt
gotta
cool.
grab a boot.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's such a different feeling between being Zarya and being Luthien. Not only in like the amount of clothing, but what that kind of what kind of mood that puts you in. Because Zarya is really flirty, so I decided that she was gonna, have quite a bit of cleavage. Maybe, she'll put the locket in her cleavage or whatever, because that's where she would have room to put it. And it just kind of gives you, it gets you more into character as well. Costuming lends so well into getting into character.
Oh god, yeah, playing Vivi for the short run mage game, and happening to have this little red shirt that I wouldn't wear out because it clings way too tightly to my middle and is not like a good fit, but you guys don't see that on screen. You're just seeing like the draped cleavage.
So that LARP red I was talking about, these are the boots that I wore, and nice. Jumped around on tables in these, because why not? Because vampires do that. Exactly. Yeah, no stunts. It wasn't one of Kelly's games, so I got away with it. Like just putting those on, you're all of a sudden like, I'm a fucking badass. Well, it doesn't help that in those I'm 6'4", 6'5". So there's nobody around that's taller than me. You just tower over everybody. You just feel like such a badass. It's great.
Does that go hand in hand with like doing costumes for stream, where you're kind of like hiding all of the stuff in behind, and it's really only, you know, chest up? Like if you ever had to do a photo shoot or anything, you're suddenly like, oh crap, what's the rest of the costume? Like what does this character wear? Because I'm kind of fortunate in the fact that I actually have cowboy boots.
Yeah, there you go.
Amazing.
If I didn't, and I was like playing this character, like I can't like wear sneakers. Like that's not going to be the character.
Oh yeah. If I tried to play my Victorian, like do a photo shoot of my Victorian mage, I'd need a skirt and boots at least.
Yep.
Because like I would want. She actually wears slightly more Edwardian or Regency, more Edwardian, honestly. Mm-hmm. So I would want a walking skirt style, and probably the little Victorian-esque boots.
Yeah, and you really need like a bum roll and like a whole bunch of.
I wouldn't worry too much. A little bit, yeah. I'd need a little padding just to get the right shape, but
exactly, yeah, because you need something to hold that kind of a shape, right? Mm-hmm. Again, unless you only take pictures from the front.
But at least that very much more pleated in the back, straight down in front sort of style skirt. 100%. That was with a waistband and high waist. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's a big thing as well. I feel like in a good tie-in from last panel to this panel is talking about like historical garments and, you know, having pieces that can fit in a variety of worlds, because it's all cyclical, it all comes back into style, and certain outfits will work all the time, right?
Absolutely. I feel like we should have like, because things keep coming back up, like with the basics, we should just have like a little list of like costuming basics you should have in your costuming closet if this is something that you want to do. So maybe we'll get that, we should get that list kind of going in
totally
Discord or something.
Yeah, no, we should definitely do that. 100%. And I think it's same thing with like makeup. We'll talk about that tomorrow, right? Is there's like, you don't need the 12 bins of makeup that I have to be an effective makeup artist to do stuff like this, right? Especially on stream.
Well, why don't we segue into costuming for stream then? Because we're kind of touching on it, but let's just kind of go into how does that differ from costuming for photo shoots or costuming I mean, I'd say at the table, but it doesn't really. But full body costumes instead. Yeah.
Like Converse is streaming.
Converse is stream. Let's do that. Perfect. Oh, cons are those? Yeah. What are those?
I've been so long.
What? What is that?
Well, cons are great right now because you have to wear a mask, so you don't have to worry about your makeup.
Oh, that's right. I've seen so many cosplayers on my feed being like, and there went 2 hours of makeup time because I forgot that I needed to wear a mask.
I saw a bunch of people at SakuraCon that made their masks part of their costume. There was, awesome. I think it was one of the guys from, it was either Lupin or Cowboy Bebop, but they had a cigarette, like they had a mouth painted and a cigarette stuck on their mask. It was wow.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, well, and I think, so there's, I feel like you guys might have other ones, but I feel like my two things that I always need to remember for stream is I'm not in super high definition. I'm on a very, very tiny screen, and you're only seeing me from about nip up. I don't.
I always overestimate that too, because I'm like, can you even see my like necklaces sometimes? So like, oh no, but that's part of the character.
Yeah, if I'm
straighter, and then that messes up the frame, and I'm like, oh no, what have I done?
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at like Sasira is a great example of this. It's like, you know, you got to get the horns in, but you also want to get the jacket in.
Because I want to show off those gears that are
exactly.
Yeah, there's pieces.
I mean, for Win, the longest time, the way we were framed and the way my camera was working meant that I was cut off about here.
Yeah.
Now, one part about Win that I kind of did that I really enjoyed was I was using an underbust.
Yes.
Win has cleavage out the yin-yang.
Yes.
And you couldn't
see
tell.
it.
In fact, for the longest time, I was kind of helping paint it on to make it even more...
Yeah.
Yes, we love that for her.
Intense. She's, boobs and hair, pretty much, and fists of fury.
Yes,
and candies. Don't forget those.
And candies.
But like that was why I had like Krista helped design that shirt for Win in such a way that the entire neckline is controlled by one string of ribbon, so that I can adjust where it sits to hide my bra straps underneath and like angles and stuff, and to get like the best flattering neckline without it being forced. And that the underbust with straps holds everything in the right spot. So like that shirt is basically a massive rectangle of fabric, and it's all held in place by the underbust to keep it. And I can adjust that every time, so it can be higher, lower, whatever I want. It's great.
How are you feeling?
But we eventually managed to, I guess my camera, either we adjusted that or something, but it meant I was a little more zoomed out. So now you can actually see the neckline of my shirt.
We all enjoyed the view.
I actually go back to drawing it on again.
See, I kind of had something similar with Isaac in that, like, I bought a binder specifically to wear for him. And then one day I was like, I just couldn't, I'd forgotten it, or I just didn't have time to put it on or whatever. And I had just had a sports bra, and I was sitting to myself going, there's no difference. So we're just going to not worry about it.
Well, for painting, and we'll talk maybe about that in the makeup panel. I used to, like, the shirt I wear for Sassy, the neckline goes down to like about here. But because of the camera, I realized I didn't have to paint my neck all the way down there. So I have to be interesting when I take photos now, because if my shirt is open a little too much, they'll see the spot where like the paint ends around here, and then they'll just be like this like chunk of skin. So I have to make sure like the blouse is tucked around that, because it's just like, oh yeah, I got lazy and realized I didn't have to paint all the way down into my cleavage with purple paint. I can just kind of do it the neck, and it's easier to wash off at the end of the night.
Yeah, and for Zarya, I have to paint a lot of my body. However, what I don't have to paint and what is showing is my back. And the backs of my arms, because you know what? That's too awkward, and no one's gonna see, and I don't care. But if I do turn around like this, you might get a little sneak peek of my actual skin color.
Well, yeah, Isaac's painted to about here. Yeah. And about here. And so like if my jacket comes open a little bit, you can kind of see it. And if I turn in a weird way, you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what this means now. So the next time you guys play these characters in full makeup and full costume, when you have a break, you're going to have to show off all the bits and pieces and give shout out to the costume panel. Because you can show people how much get hidden during a stream.
That's true. That's very true. It's very true. Yeah, I also felt that that binder one with Talfrin. One day I just like couldn't for the life of me find it. I mean, I knew I had used it the day before for like a dance thing, but I could not find my binder, and I was like, okay, just a sports bra time. And then I was like, hold on. With the like fluffy necktie, with all these things, you can't even tell. You can't even tell. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you think you're gonna need, but honestly, just try it out first. And then if you don't need it, you don't need it. But if you want to do an actual photo shoot, then that's a whole different ballpark.
Also, if you're painting, like, just wear gloves. It sucks to pick up some dice, like D4s suck to pick up with gloves on. But you can either try and match your gloves to your color, or you can wear like black or white gloves or something, and just they're wearing gloves.
Yep. Guess who doesn't have gloves in their character art? Zarya.
Sassy.
Guess who always wears gloves? Zarya.
I found these, so it's actually really nice for picking up dice. And it, like I don't show my hands that much on stream, and like the shade isn't perfectly matched, but it's like it's a good idea.
Close enough, yeah.
It's a close enough. I wear sleeves, but it's like you know what, this is good enough for stream where you don't have to worry about painting your hands or getting gloves, then you can't pick up any damn D4s.
Exactly.
That plays again into the realism versus
Yeah, for sure, that too. But especially with the break, if it was like right up against your painted skin, you'd definitely notice. But because there's that sleeve and that break, you know, there's also ways to make gloves out of tights, which I really want to do. However, Zarya doesn't have a break at all, I noticed. So I was trying to get her to have jewelry, but that didn't really work. Anyway, for reasons, it had to be like that. But yeah.
Two quick things in regards to the chat. I was going to say, Chef asked about prosthetics. I'll talk a bit about that tomorrow. Honestly, DM me if you have a question. I'm happy to talk about it. You can find me in the Discord, because there is a lot of ways to get into it without really like investing a ton of time and energy, but there's also ways to invest a lot of time and energy into it. Also, don't make ties. They are so complex. Just buy them.
Yeah, honestly, again, thrifting. Like, there are so many ties at thrift shops. Yeah, I've never made a tie.
the pandemic is slowly starting. Like, I used to go always for like as a kid, even like Halloween costumes. We didn't go and my parents never took me to go buy new costumes. It was, we're going to Value Village and we're finding your pieces for your costume. So like now that we're like the pandemic's slightly slowing in, we'll see how comfortable I feel about buying thrift shop stuff. But you know, it's a really viable option.
Yeah.
You're a mad woman, Kel, FYI.
Yeah.
When I was thrift shopping, I actually found a full suit. Came with like a vest, came with the jacket, came with the pants, came with everything, and it was like dirt cheap, probably like $30.
Nice.
And now I've got, and it looks like something like left over from the 70s. It's horrible.
Amazing.
But again, on stream, I can look like a business guy.
Yes, you can.
Is that your one you wore in the ward?
It is.
Yes.
It is totally it is totally the jacket of a really crappy lawyer. So.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
But it's great because like you can buy a cheap suit and it doesn't have to be tailored perfectly for you to be on stream. Like it can be like not the best fitting suit.
And again, like I was saying, like with this shirt, I mean, you wouldn't even if it doesn't do up all the way, if you're wearing it under a jacket, just cut it up the back.
Yeah.
It's gonna look a little funny, but if you're wearing it, especially on stream, like no one's gonna notice.
Who's gonna know?
This is a fun little Krista learned experience. So I learned that it doesn't matter when you're wearing it on stream. So I didn't learn that with Ida's costume, because Ida's vest has freaking tassels and it's the greatest, but all you see is this.
Oh no.
And I hate it. And I'm so mad that I sit there like on stream just like playing with the tassels and braiding them.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. But then I learned because Sabina's shirt is very short. Like it's quite cropped, like it just barely reaches my waist, which like I wouldn't wear a shirt like that if I was going out in public. Like even when I wore it to SakuraCon, like I wore really high-waisted pants so I could tuck it in. But I ran out of fabric before I could do I didn't have quite enough, and it was something I'd got on clearance. So I was like, well, it can be short. It's fine.
It's for stream.
Exactly. No one will know.
Awesome. That's awesome. Do we want to go into talking about thrifting now that we're kind of like bridging things together? I love it. Mwah. It's perfect.
I haven't done a ton of thrift shopping, so like I'm definitely going to throw it to you guys, because I as a nearly 6 foot tall, very broad woman have a hard time finding items at thrift shops a lot of the time. Anything I do find, I would have to open up and adjust a lot of it. So I seldom do that, but I'd love to hear opportunities to do so.
I never get pants.
Fair enough.
That's impossible. I'm too tall.
Oh, gotcha.
But tops, dresses, that sort of thing, skirts, those are very doable at a thrift store. I tend to go more for accessories, or I'll look. Like when I did do this, I haven't done it for like a good number of years now, but when I did I generally looked at the accessories for the most part, or for some basic pieces, and generally looked for bigger than smaller.
Yeah. Nice.
It's much easier to put a few tucks in or a few stitches in here and there just to hold something together in the right space. Also with like my problem, at least for like blazers, is that women's blazers, for the most part, for all that this is an ideal that society says we should have, big boobs. Nothing's designed to actually fit them properly.
Nope.
So what I found, and I haven't gotten one yet, but what I was finding was that I could get a blazer, and because you're not going to actually see much of it, if you pin it to your shirt
nice
into the right shape, you don't need to see that it doesn't actually do up underneath.
That's awesome.
Yeah, blazers are designed for very, very skinny women for the most part, it seems like.
Yeah.
I can never seem to make them fit without weird wrinkles and whatnot that just don't look professional.
Yeah, fair enough.
So one day I need a big one and to sit down with a friend, Krista.
Your name's Krista.
Yeah, I think the best part is go thrift shopping, find a bigger thing, and then have a friend that you're willing to
or honestly, like some tailoring is not that expensive.
Yeah.
Well, and like the tailoring I did for your shirt, your Victorian shirt, that was like, it was a little time consuming, but it was simple. Like the actual act of it, like is something that I think if you are someone that has time and wants to learn it, you did not have a lot of time.
No. Which I think I've realized why they were so big. So the cuffs of my Victorian shirt were way too big. Like I could pull, like they, like wide-handed, it would be sitting down here. Like it would not sit at the wrist. And I think it's because when you move in it, those cuffs get caught when they're smaller. So I don't know what they did in like real life. I think they must have put more material in the back or something but anyways.
That would have been my guess.
If I shift too hard in it, the cuffs get a bit caught. But they were too big, so Krista kind of helped unpick them and I think re-sew them with better tucking so that it went smaller.
Yeah, essentially what I ended up doing is I fully removed the cuff. I cut the cuff off on the side with the buttons so that I didn't have to redo buttonholes. I just had to re-sew buttons back on.
Nice.
And then tightened up the wrist a little bit and tucked it back into the cuff and sewed that. So again, like very simple, but it's finicky and it's time consuming. And like I literally just like my night, I'd sit and watch TV and just pick and re-sew, and it's next to nothing, right? It's just you have to have the time to sit down and do that for a while.
Which I'm just going to do a quick plug to remind people that we are doing this fundraiser so we can actually even pay Krista to be able to do things.
Everyone here is very lovely. Everyone is very, very wonderful and either pays me at the very least for the fabric, which is very sweet, and then or pays me for my time as best as they can.
I'm pretty sure I often force you to take the money.
Yes, people have literally I know that people do that, and so I undershoot what I spent because I know people are going to pay me more.
I've tricked Kristen to taking it via cider.
It's true, yeah.
Take the cider. Payment. It's not.
By this point, I think I people what they're worth. Close to $500 on costuming and wigs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For the
I
so
don't
easy.
even want to say how much I've just spent on my one.
Probably roughly that. I'm just trying to think of the item. I'm not counting items that I already owned prior to we started doing Dork Tales, which the poet shirts I bought well before Dork Tales started. Because you know what's fun? Going to a convention in a poet shirt with a corset and skinny jeans or something, you feel pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I have to admit, I'm kind of in a small little special class of, I think it's about 5 people that have Krista made Star Trek uniforms.
I have that jacket. One sec. I'll go grab it.
Don't worry, I'm going to wear mine for Star Trek tomorrow. So yeah, feel free to put yours on now. But
I'm going to grab it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, the sci-fi panel tomorrow, I'm totally going to wear it through that because honestly, Krista is amazing at doing costuming. But I feel like it really made that game amazing when there was 5 of us sitting around all wearing the same uniform. I don't know how you pulled that off, but it was magical.
It really was. That looks so cool.
Absolutely.
There's just something that I find a really it takes sometimes a lot of work and time and just effort each week to get into costume, but it is so much easier for I think RP for myself to be able to feel the vibe instantly of that character and just slip into that character very easy, and things like that is so cool. I want one of those jackets.
Looks so good.
So yeah, I know I need to make you one of these, and so I had them all with their different our respective colors of who we were playing. Kelly ordered us amazing badges.
So that's cool.
Now this is a fun little, this ties it back into things for stream. This is fully green on the inside.
Noticed, I was like, that's disappearing.
Mine is not, nothing you can see here, but it's not at all hemmed. It's completely rough on the edges. The zipper is coming completely off. I also fucked the zipper up and had shortened it. I shortened it and didn't add a top to it.
Oh
So I went and fully
She
just
gone.
she gone. So this one doesn't do up anymore. Yeah. It was borrowed on another video podcast over at Lasercomb Studios. And I went to give it over and I was like, oh fuck, this doesn't zip up. I'm so sorry. And they were like, it's totally fine. But yes, no, it's this part alone took, between the 5 jackets that I made, I'm pretty sure I used 7 spools of thread, because every one of these lines is quilted.
Oh wow.
So
oh my
it
god.
took a long time. Taryn, I did it all at Taryn's house, and they very kindly fed me while I sat there and quilted top pieces for everybody. Yeah.
Wow.
They're very much convention worthy level.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
I was really, really proud of how they ended up turning out. Mine's weird because it was I knew I would be wearing it, so I didn't care so much. But I made sure that everybody else's was hemmed and seamed and all that kind of stuff. So I was really proud of those ones.
You've done a fantastic
awesome.
jobs on costumes, Krista. Like
thank you.
I would like to, before we like continue on, like
Okay.
I would just like the piece you did for XLR, which is a shirt
Yes.
that you
It's
it like
beautiful.
it has buttons to remove things, so you can like, I need to find another time to wear it because you can remove the sleeves and the hood on it, and it's so
very adjustable.
fantastic.
Well, and it's so funny because like all of the pieces, like all of these, like Sarcira's jacket and Kelly's DM jacket for Witchlight are all tablecloths I found at Sally Ann, and like I'm pretty sure the fabric the fabric for that shirt that Rob just held up, including the trim, I think cost me $15, if that, because it was cheap clearance stuff.
Yeah.
And same with your shirt for Victorian Mage, like it was
This is, I think, my favorite costume piece you've made.
It came out really well. I was really happy with it.
Let me see if I can get it up to the camera. Where's the like details you've done on the like embroidery? Oh, come on.
Oh, yes, there it is.
Well, and this actually, I don't know if you guys agree, this might be a good tide over into buying things online and getting things commissioned.
Before we do that, though, we do have one question so that we don't forget it. And it's for Michael. How long did it take? Oh, here we go. No, how long did it take you to get? How long did it take to ready the costume for your cyberpunk character? It's from Frogs.
I would say the vast majority of it is makeup, so I'm sure you guys can touch on that more tomorrow in the makeup panel. Since I'm not in that panel, every time I played that character, I would try to adjust the makeup because it's like a cyberpunk world, and honestly, that character was very flexible as far as expression goes. So every time I would play it, I would adjust the makeup and I would adjust the wig. The wig adjustment was largely me moving it around with a whole bunch of pins. So I would start about 2 hours early because I would have to like shave my face. That was the vast majority of it, because I would have to go and put all my makeup base on and all that. So yeah. Question and ask in tomorrow in the makeup panel. But as far as costuming go, it didn't really change the costume. It was largely a jacket and a tank top, and that was it. So, but yeah, 2 hours set up every time.
Oof! Oh my goodness. All right. Buying and ordering things online then was something that was a topic that someone wanted us to touch on. So, all right. First I'd say ample time. Give it ample time. Usually my go-to is at least a month in advance. For some things, if it's like a whole ass costume that you're getting from somewhere in the world, I'd say at least a month. Is generally the turnaround time that I find. It actually is quite accurate. I've gotten some things in about 3 weeks that have been whole costumes, and I got one that was like 2 weeks, but they were very nice to me. Yes, they were very nice to me. But yeah, so usually it's about a month. And the second thing I would just say is reviews, picture reviews, please. The places like AliExpress are amazing. They're great. I love them, but each individual listing is from a different seller. So whereas you really need to actually see what I find. You really need to see what other people have received from the listing, because it can be either really good or really bad. So it all depends, but I would never order anything without actually getting a picture of what it is, without being like, this might be awful. Do I have a backup? Da 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 da. Yeah.
Yeah, I find Amazon tends to be a little more expensive. You don't find quite as good of deals. However, AliExpress does sometimes hide the expense into shipping fees. So you have to watch. Sometimes it looks like a really good deal, but then you get hit with $12 shipping fees and it ends up the same price as Amazon. I kind of hate giving the money to Bezos, but we're also on Twitch right now, so but
and also Amazon
I find they tend to be
sometimes
easier
faster
to negotiate.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
With, like to like get through their listing and search stuff. They don't have as much variety generally in like more fantasy style stuff. Or it tends to be like the sexy Halloween costume type thing. But you can generally find enough pieces with a bit of effort that you can make something from that. I find it fairly reliable for jewelry as well, to be relatively decent, and what it looks like is what you're going to get for the most part. Most of the pieces that I get for stuff are from Amazon.
I've found some really successful pieces on Shein, of all places, and they are also a little bit of a longer lead time. But I know like my sort of leather wrap that I have for Ida for Deadlands is from there, and it's been pretty good.
I heard really good things about Shein, but I've never actually tried it. So with some,
I've ordered like
every now and again.
Sometimes
every now and again they do a big like they do free shipping worldwide.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, I kept looking and being like, well, maybe I want this, maybe I want this, and then they did a big free shipping thing, and I was like, all right, here we go.
Let's do this.
I
love it.
Exactly. And they're like, it's the quality you expect. Some of the dresses I have like feel like cheap Halloween costumes. So maybe, that's not great, but like you look at the picture and you can go, yeah, that's going to feel like a cheap Halloween costume.
Okay, yeah, fair. Okay.
I spent $6 on this dress. It's going to feel like
expect what you pay for. If you're ordering things online, if you're ordering cheap stuff, it's probably going to be cheap. Like I ordered Ivy's initial corset was like a 17 AliExpress thing, and then I actually ended up getting a better corset from Corset Story, and it lasts a long time because that one actually started breaking at the rivets and stuff because it was a cheap corset, so I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, like
yeah, just expect that.
My recent purchase off of Amazon, I found actually the seller or brand Scarlet Darkness actually pretty much fits to what they say it does.
That's where I got Sassy's thing, is actually Scarlet Darkness.
And it's got kind of like, it's also where I got my vest for Callie. And this actually fits pretty good, and it's very thin material, like it's very, very thin, but it's pretty decent. Like the stitching is fine, there's no extraneous threads, it basically looks how they said it would. Yeah, so I've been finding that's fairly reliable. And you know what, I ordered it Monday and it came here yesterday. And it's in time for the game tonight. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a nice thing about, like,
if you got
Amazon
Prime,
compared.
it's useful.
Oh yeah.
Especially since they're getting back to their proper delivery times after the pandemic now.
I did my wig for Sabina is 2 wigs, and I started working on one going, I can't do the hairstyle I want with just this, I need like half another wig, and so I ordered the wig on Amazon, and 3 days later it showed up, and it was like, okay, good, now I can make this work.
Yeah, I've seen a couple on Amazon that I like, and I'm like, they're probably not as good quality in person, but if it's the right color shift that I want, that maybe I can't get on, say, Arda. All right, because I've noticed, honestly, Arda's changed some of their colors recently, and they've reduced their selection on some of the wigs.
Yes.
Which I'm really frustrated by, because 2 of my wigs now, Wynn's and Evelyn's, you can't get in that color anymore. Because I was going to replace Evelyn's.
Oh, no.
Because I basically forced that wig into that shape now.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have the curly one again.
Yeah.
So I could use that for stuff. Can't get it in that color anymore. I'm like, damn it.
Oh.
But
did we have a question?
Yeah, Wonka asked, what has been your favorite costume that you've made so far? I think that's probably to like the whole group in general.
Yeah. I have to think about that for a sec. So if someone wants to jump in, you know, I'm like, I have to like, because I always say something. I'm like, yeah, this one is the forefront of my mind. But then I think about it and I'm like, oh, crap, I should have said something else. So I have to think about it for a quick moment.
I will say the Star Trek jackets, and Sarcira's jacket, and especially Kelly's jacket from Witchlight. I think Kelly's jacket from Witchlight is one of my favorite pieces I've ever made. Even outside of Dork Tales stuff, like it's one of my proudest pieces. I'm really happy with it.
Really good jacket.
Yeah, especially being that it was a tablecloth.
Yeah, it's magical what you can take a tablecloth and do with it.
Yeah, I mean it's all fabric, right? It's just how you manipulate it, and yeah, I'm a really big fan of that one. Yeah,
I think so far my favorite is probably Wynn's. It's probably my simplest costume. The least number of pieces, honestly, but which the underbust for that is bought from Amazon, and it was really cheap. So what's happening now is the front line that should go straight up and down is kind of curving off to the side.
Oh no.
So if I wouldn't wear this one in public because it was like a cheap $20 fake corset sort of thing. It provides the stability of pulling everything in and pushing everything up, but it's yeah.
Yeah.
I think I really liked Keiko's, but I really liked the whole look of Verena with the second I put the makeup and the wig and the shirt on, I felt so striking in that. It's one of those ones where I just kind of looked in the mirror and I was like, damn. Damn, you did well there, Holford. You did well.
Amazing. Mike?
I think I'd have to go with my cyberpunk character. Because oddly enough, I have always imagined what that character's shoe wear would be. And I actually have some safety steel-toed boots that are kind of like modern-esque combat boots style. Nice. And I'm like, that character is wearing that style of boots. So, and it's like, I have never worn those boots and in that character outfit, but if a convention ever showed up and I had the opportunity, that's what I'm wearing.
We got to get together once we have an opportunity to, and just like do big cast photo shoots. It was so much fun to do for Netherdeep. Like, it would be great to just do it for a whole bunch of games.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I could totally picture that for Deadlands. Deadlands would be amazing.
Our Deadlands group would be sick. We got to get Millie out here, and then we can get together and do that, because that would be amazing.
So I ran to grab a costume piece. So I guess I don't know if everyone's gone, but I'll go next. So it is going to be Zarya. Surprise, surprise. That's my favorite one that I made. Probably because I did make most of it. So I made the cape and I made the dress. I didn't make the horns, but you know, whatever. We do what we could do. But I also did scale mail for the first time, and I was actually pretty pleased with how it came out. So I'm gonna show it off because you don't really get to see it underneath my wig very much.
It's gorgeous.
It's amazing.
Just show the little weave. Yay, so nice. And beautiful. Then this fabric was way too expensive, but it's like kind of color shifting. It's called Amethyst.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And you also don't get to see this very much because the wig. And it's like down. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that's probably
that your scale mail gave me a reminder of the other thing you need to think of on stream is sound.
Oh yeah.
Yours is perfect. It's just the right jingle, and it's good. I almost wore a different necklace today that had a bell on it, and I was like, poor life choice. It was bad, and it would have been dinging right in the stupid mic when I had it wrong. That would have been a great. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it does give a little bit of a.
I know.
Yeah, that is something you have to think about streaming is like moving things around your mic and having clicking, clacking.
I have a very badass like pleather shiny like crossover zipper jacket. It is so loud that I've never worn it on stream.
So the jacket that I've worn frequently on stream when I'm playing a badass character is that kind of fake leather looking jacket. It's actually a crop jacket. It only comes down to like
so is this one.
But it's got zippers at the wrist.
Yeah.
And the zipper thing hangs there. So I have to be very careful about what I'm doing because my mic is right here and my arm's going under it and next to it. And ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate to say it, but these are actually from a old convention fashion show, and these are actually pants. You have not felt discomfort, and they're actual rubber. Like, I can actually pull these. You have not felt discomfort until you have worn rubber black pants under a lot of hot lights and waiting till you go on for an hour. I'm like, am I sweating out of the bottom? Because that's like uncomfortable.
You just walk and there's like footprints.
And squeaking. So much squeaking. I think it was a Friends thing where Ross was wearing leather pants and he's trying to get out of it afterwards. And he's like, oh, here, I'll put some sort of lotion in there. Here, I'll put baby powder in there. Oh, it's turning into some sort of paste. I have felt that.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
Traz just said the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's what I was picturing too.
I remember that was another early 2000s thing. It was swishy pants and just remembering the noise you would make going like parachute fabric pants.
Oh, heck yeah. Now I know what you mean, the swishy pants. Yes.
I wear to work. I have some waterproof pants and I make that and I was like, I can hear Robin coming. I'm like,
I used to wear that in school. Like, I don't like, and I wasn't the only one. You just hear
That's awesome.
I had that for overpants when I used to ride my bike, and it would have the buttons up the side, so you could just go
tearaways.
Rip the pants off.
Oh, right.
I miss tearaways.
I love my tearaway track pants. They're so good. But yeah, they were so bad. You'd go to like practice or something with these track pants on, and just
the loudest thing in existence.
Yep.
All right, we got another question from Storm Shanks. What's your preference? Velcro, clothing magnets, or a quick stitch?
Duct tape.
I mean, duct tape is an option. Or duct tape.
I am very fortunate that I have a pretty good automatic buttonholer. So on my sewing machine. So as much as sewing buttons on kind of sucks, it's a pretty effective closure method. I also have a friend that's really good at sewing zippers.
Nice.
I don't know why Taryn is so good at sewing zippers. It's a weird supernatural power that she has, but she's very good at sewing zippers. So I would make these incredible elaborate costumes and then go, can you put the zipper in for me, please? She stitch rips for me and she puts in zippers. It's everything you could dream of in a friend.
Yeah.
Like Michael was talking about the fashion show at SakinoCon.
Yeah.
I've done a number of outfits there, and I always have one every year that I did that was a transforming outfit. It always like something ripped or unzipped or undid, and those were always my favorite that I had.
Those were always really impressive.
They were so the amount of time that I sat there like staring at pieces of fabric wondering, does this fold here or does this here? So many like architectural drawings of how dresses would close, but those very much like were a combination. It was, some of them were magnets, like I did one that was Shazam, and it started off as like cute little overalls that undid, and the overalls were magneted, but the waistband was a snap. And then some things had Velcro that tucked up and you pulled so that the Velcro came undone. I think every closure has its place.
Absolutely.
And especially like dependent on the historical or whatever kind of thing you're trying to look at. Like I realized with that cowl that I made, I hand sewed the buttons on and I hand sewed the buttonholes because my buttonholer was being weird. And after I did it, I was like, this goes over your head. Why did I sew buttons into this?
Yeah.
But then things like the and then the shirt for Win, right? Like you don't need any closures for that because it's adjustable and it's a drawstring. And then the shirt for your Victorian mage character, Robin, like it's got buttons, like tiny little like covered. So... and the buttons were actually like I handmade those buttons.
I know.
So that they match the fabric. You can buy, if you ever fun hack, you can buy buttons that you can cover with fabric and then they match exactly your outfit. But like that, I could have sewn buttons down the one side and then Velcroed it shut. And that's going to be totally fine if you're going for something quick like that. I mean, like I've done theater enough years that a quick change is really important. And sometimes it's just got to be Velcro.
Also, sometimes my Victorian shirt is buttoned only for half of it. The rest of it's loose enough because it would be gathered under a skirt that you just need it buttoned enough that you have the tight neckline.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you need to be able to take it on and off. So you just have a half.
Yes, Kel, shush. We're both mad women. How about that?
Oh, amazing. Awesome. I'm a fan of hook and eyes, to be honest with you. I like them very much. They're easy to put in, and I like snaps because they're also easy to sew and easy to, if they undo, you just for costumes. Oh yeah, amazing.
I had a lot of fun putting rivets, like the riveted openings in bracers that I made.
Yeah, those are fun.
Because lacing is also really easy, and you know what? It's not going to happen. It's probably not going to come undone.
True. It's
not going to rip its way out. Not likely.
Yeah,
especially roughly holding.
Like pilot shirts, exactly. Like because you're never going to be pulling them tight. Like if you're pulling them tight, you got to put boning and do all that kind of fun stuff. But if you're doing it in like a thicker fabric or in something that doesn't need to be done up tight, great.
Using a punch and then like just hitting it with a hammer is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, that's so.
You needed a good concrete surface though, preferably with like wood over top or something, or metal, so you don't damage the concrete as well. But you need a nice hard surface to do it on.
Yeah, smack it.
Definitely.
Countertops will not work.
No.
Guaranteed.
Oh man.
Snaps and rivets.
Fabric
store, Michael's, Joann's. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think you could probably find them in the like the really small ones if you want really small ones. Not rivets, but you could find some snaps in like just like I wasn't gonna say a hardware store, but just like a grocery store, but like those like odds and ends aisles, you might be able to find one there. You can find little sewing kits, they probably have them in there.
Yeah,
I found
Walmart has a tiny craft section usually, but they definitely have those kind of things.
For making the holes, I found it was worth it to pay to get the machine.
But they got fabric back.
But it's trying to make the holes to punch through like fake leather. Getting the machine that has basically it's a pair of clamps that have a ring at the top where you can change the size of the hole you're punching. Those were worth it. I think they were about $30.
I bought the thingy for snaps. So instead of having to push the thing together with the little hole, I just have pliers that clap the things together.
Nice.
I looked for those and I couldn't find them because I was going to buy those. So instead I had to use the little kit where you put them on, you have a little thing and you hit it with a hammer.
I only bought them because I was at Fabricland when they were 70% off and they're normally like $50. And I was like, I'm not paying $50 for those, but I got them for like $15. It was great.
That's awesome. All right, we have timekeeper says we have 3 minutes left.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael.
Ready?
It's your moment.
Okay.
Right. Someone get me a timer. I need 1 minute. And I'm not gonna do any weird like accents or anything. I'm just gonna like throw this is about the costume.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna throw out a term. We're gonna have a Dork Tales party here. So Mr. Dork Tales, somebody like be Mr. Dork Tales at the door and Time. Okay.
Ready?
Time me. 1 minute.
Yeah, gotcha.
Go.
All right.
Hello, it is me. I need to park my carriage at the front door.
Oh no, you gotta waste some time.
You don't mind if I set up my yurt in your backyard, do you?
Oh, I love it.
Hey, I brought my horse. I hope you don't mind. My horse is gonna eat some clover in the backyard. Hi, I hope you don't mind, but I brought my baseball team. We're gonna go over by the food there. Hi, I'm here to hang out with your kids. I hope that's okay.
13. 12.
I brought my my arm wrestling team. I hope that's cool.
6. 5.
I have my boat available.
Oh my god!
One more.
Hey!
Hi there, my name's Sylvester, and I live next door.
Oh, amazing!
Very well done.
Oh, I was worried that I didn't count, but
we should have counted.
Oh, no,
We're all enjoying ourselves. There was
so
3
enjoying it.
baseball
There's
hats,
3 baseball hats.
top hat,
you've got the hats. Oh.
and Jane.
Oh, perfect. And Jane. I love it.
Fabulous. Awesome.
Amazing.
Is that it for us?
I think that's about time to start wrapping
that's
up.
about
We can
it.
give
Yeah.
one more run through of who we are and
Yeah. And then we'll
Where
say
do
our
you find
goodbyes.
last words.
All right. Why don't we go backwards? We'll go Michael.
Hi everyone, I've been Michael. I've enjoyed doing the costume stuff. Start your costume with a great hat.
Oh, I love it. Great words of advice. Krista, would you like to say something?
Yeah, hi. I'm nah.
No. Bye.
Bye.
It was fun. Peace.
First, just leave. Just get up and go. I'm Krista. You can find me here on Dork Tales most of the time, or over on TikTok as TahistaFX, or on the Dork Tales TikTok, which will be getting back up and running very soon as my life calms down a little bit and I'm in a different house. And other than that, thank you for having me. I'm going to be back later this afternoon in the games you should be playing right now panel. So come back and see me then if you're not sticking around, which you should be. And if you are, make sure you hydrate or dihydrate.
Whoa, I like it. We got some good advice right at the end there. With all
You gotta get hey, you know what? I don't give it much, so you gotta get some in there.
Do it when you can.
Exactly.
All right, Christine.
All right. I've been Christine. You can find me on Twitch as Lady Liliana, or you can come hang out and get history. Come talk to me about history.
Nice.
And I'll see you tonight for the no prep game.
Ooh, excited. I'm excited. I'm so excited to watch that one.
It's gonna be so good.
Oh, excited. All right, Robin.
Hello, everyone. I've been Robin. It's been nice talking about costumes with y'all. You can find me at Second Gen Gamer, but mostly here on Dork Tales. And yeah, I will be seeing you for the No Prep game. I am very looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time, and so you should definitely stick around for other panels. I'm excited to listen into those, and I hope to see you guys around.
Awesome. All right, and I was Caitlin. I still am Caitlin, I suppose. I go by Petite Medic on all social medias, and thank you so much for joining us for our costuming panel. This was such a good time. I love costumes and everything about them. And if you want to know more about costumes, or if you have any other questions for us, you can find us on our Discord, which I dropped really early in the chat, but that's okay. It's still there. Oh, and Dork Tales dropped it too. Amazing. So yeah, so come talk to us. We have a costuming, and we also have a makeup. Costuming and makeup, I think, is one channel there, but we also have, if you have particular questions for us, you can either message us individually, or you can come to our little our own little channels. We got some little channels in there going on, so yeah.
Yeah, we all got our little rooms.
We all got little rooms. Yeah. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I think that's
All
it.
right, so All right, so folks, that is going to be this panel. So thank you so much for running this. I really appreciate you all showing up for the costuming and all of that. Voice of Kelly here, doing the Overwatch thing. And the dog's barking. All right, so folks, hey, guess what? It is only 15 minutes until we're going to be right back with writing for tabletop role-playing games, which is going to consist of a bunch of writers for tabletop role-playing games who will tell you how they got into the industry, what their writing ethos is, and a bunch of other great stuff, as well as just kind of shooting the shit. Be sure to come back at 4 p.m. Pacific for that, so that's only in 15 minutes. I'm going to put us on a Be Right Back screen right now, and I'm just going to keep talking, but thank you all so much for being here. Y'all are amazing. So much love.
Thank you for having us.